The ideal team player. Now, this principle is a little different than what we have been doing so far. Most of what we've been doing so far I took from Keith Drury's Strategetics course. This one, though, comes from a Patrick Lencioni book by the same name, The Ideal Team Player, where he outlines in a Venn diagram sort of way when you're looking to hire somebody, or even in a volunteer team, somebody that you're wanting to work with, somebody that you want on your team, the kind and quality and caliber of person you want. It's the ideal team player. And he defines that with three words that then need to be defined as well to be able to understand what he's talking about. But it's that person is hungry, humble, and smart. Those three categories: hungry, humble, smart, and they overlap. And that where they overlap, that is the ideal team player. Now, hungry defines somebody that's a go-getter. They're going to show up and they're going to do the work. They're going to get there early, they're going to stay late, they're going to be self-motivated, self-driven, they're going to be trying to succeed. Quality and excellence is what they're after. That's somebody that's hungry. You don't have to drive them, they drive themselves. And so that person is somebody that you're not having to constantly crack the whip or lead with a carrot. That's somebody that is self-motivated. You don't have to drive them. They're hungry. Humble. Now, humble doesn't mean that this is somebody that kind of hides in the shadows, but a humble person, as he defines it, is somebody that is about the team. And so they share their victories and they share their difficulties. It's about us. It's about we're doing this as a team. It's not somebody that's grandstanding or utilizing the team's successes for their own progress or the team's failures as though it's not theirs because they're just an individual that got loaded with a bad team. So somebody that's humble is somebody that is all about the team's success. They're about chasing the mission, not about their own personal aggrandizement. That makes a team a far better team, obviously. So if you have somebody who's hungry, somebody who's humble, and also smart. Now, smart is not necessarily IQ. This is somebody that if you inject them into the equation, the stress level goes down. This is someone who's socially smart. Somebody who, when connected with other people, makes those other people better. Now, this could be done in any number of ways, but it's somebody that's able to, as we say quite often, read the room. And so they're able to inject themselves into stressful situations, difficult relationships, conflicts potentially, and they're able to bring down the temperature. There's somebody that is a cohesive agent for the team. So they keep the disparate parts from flying off into all sorts of directions. So this is the ideal team player, somebody who's hungry, humble, and smart. They are self-motivated. They are about the team's success at the mission, and they are able to reduce tensions within the interpersonal connections of that team. Now, somebody who's just hungry is somebody that he describes as a bulldozer. This is sometimes described as a lion, or sometimes they talk about an alpha male. But this is somebody that just drives over people in pursuit of their objectives. People don't really matter. They don't make good teammates. You don't want them on your team because the individual is the one that's driving and they're trying to advance their own career. They're just, but they're highly qualified, excellent people at the content or the competency factor. And so they're hard to fire in some ways, but they destroy the team. That's somebody who's just hungry. Somebody that's just humble is kind of the pawn. They're able to be used by everybody else. They're looked down upon. They don't really add to the team. They're kind of the scapegoat. They're willing to take it on the chin, but they don't provide any assistance. This is somebody that others look down on, do not aspire to be, and do not want to be with. They don't want to be saddled with because although emotionally they're not putting themselves forward, the rest of the team's having to carry their weight. And nobody likes that. The person that's only smart is kind of the politician, what Lencioni describes as the charmer. This is somebody that's able to mooch their way up a degree, but everybody that's ever served with them or under them despises them. They have no competency, and they're not about the team. They're all about themselves, and so they make the good sales pitch, but they never follow it up with actual pragmatic advancement towards the goal. They just know how to schmooze, and this is somebody that nobody wants on their team. So all three of those, the bulldozer, the pawn, and the charmer, nobody wants on the team. Quite often you'll get people that are two of the three, but not all three. So somebody that's hungry, self-driven, and smart, able to get along with others. This is the skillful politician, as Lencioni talks about it. They're competent and they're able to get along well with other people, but they're all about themselves. Similarly, if you have somebody that's humble about the team and they're smart, they're able to communicate, this is the lovable slacker. They never actually do the work, but man, everybody likes them. And so you don't want to fire them necessarily because everybody's going to be mad at you because this is somebody that they like, but they do not advance the mission. And then similarly, somebody that's both hungry and humble, but not smart, not able to get along with others. This is the accidental mess maker, as he describes it. This is somebody that plows in, that's about the team, doesn't really realize what they're doing, but their lack of social skills makes constant relational problems and mess for the boss that's over them and the team they're in. So you're looking for the ideal team player, somebody that's hungry, self-driven, self-motivated, competent, and excellent at their work. Somebody that's humble, that's about the team's success at the mission, and somebody that's smart. And this is somebody that is able to reduce tensions between the interpersonal connections in the team.